Today on Live at 5, a man who served Arkansas in many ways dies today in a car accident. How Stanley Reed is being remembered.
Plus, a new tool to help teachers bring more state history into the classroom. And
money running thin for the Arkansas scholarships from the lottery. Why it's unable to provide aid to some who qualify.
Live from the River Market in downtown Little Rock, this is Channel 7 News Live at 5.
If you're thinking about finishing a college degree you started years ago, don't count on getting scholarship money from the Arkansas Lottery. Good evening, and thanks for watching tonight. I'm Scott Inman.
And I'm Beth Hunt. So many non-traditional students reapplied for the money that Channel 7's Stephanie Simone found out there may not be room for new non-traditional students come fall. It's today's top story.
With each chop and cut, the credit starts to stack up. After nearly 5 years in the Air Force and in retail, 49-year-old Demetra Jackson decided the kitchen is more his speed and went back to school.
It makes my day. You know, I like to see a plate go out or a sandwich go out, and then the plate's empty or there's nothing left on the plate. That makes you feel really good.
He'll probably feel even better when he gets his double degree in culinary arts and hospitality management at Pulaski Tech. But what's really heating up for non-traditional students like Jackson is getting a lottery scholarship.
You had a lot more than anyone I think ever expected who applied and looked at wanting to come back to college.
Now about 8,000 are holding on to that money for the next year, and the Department of Higher Education is closing in on the $12 million that they can give out. So it's a gamble as to whether or not new non-traditionals will get one.
We really won't know technically until October. We may be able to fund a few. There is a prioritization process if we're able to do that.
Leaving students like Jackson to rely on other sources of financial aid, he's already got grants and working on the right recipe for a career path to be manager of a hotel one day.
With the culinary arts, it gives me all of the skills I need in the back of the house. And with the hospitality management, I get all the skills that I need in the front of the house.
He definitely has his plans laid out. Now, Broadway says Arkansas is unique that they offer it to non-traditional students. Other states don't open up their lottery scholarship program to non-traditional students. They stick to those high school seniors. Beth?
Well, Stephanie, if there is money left over for those new non-traditionals, who gets it first?
Well, there is a pecking order. If you're really close to finishing your degree, then you would be up for it first. Also, they want those math and science majors to also have priority when it comes to getting money. Beth?
Stephanie Simone live tonight. Thank you.
Your forecast first with meteorologist Ned Permy.
Well, the weekend is upon us, and already the temperatures are increasing. Pretty good amount of sunshine across the state today. 5 live Doppler radars, though, showing a few areas across southern Arkansas, bringing a little bit of rain relief. Down around Union County and El Dorado, a dying thunderstorm there coming out of Bradley and Calhoun County. Heaviest activity that we have right now is moving right along the river between Deshay and Chico County, moving to the southwest at about 25 miles an hour. Our forecast for tonight calls for a low temperature dropping off to around 75. It'll be warm and humid. After some isolated evening thunderstorms, we could see a little fog forming in some areas of the state. Tomorrow's high 96 with a chance of rain in the afternoon, about 20%. Does it sound like summer? I thought you thought it would. And we've got more coming up in just a few minutes.
An influential Arkansan has been killed in a car accident.
59-year-old Stanley Reed, a former Senate candidate and longtime member of the University of Arkansas Board of Trustees, died this morning in Woodruff County. His SUV ran off the highway. Arkansas State Police were notified around 10 o'clock about an accident on Highway 64. A witness reported seeing Reed's SUV leave the roadway on a straight stretch and hit a tree. He was declared dead at the scene. Circumstances surrounding the incident are still developing this evening. Reed was a Marianna farmer and attorney who was a former Arkansas Farm Bureau president and a finalist for the U of A president position. He also briefly ran for the Republican nomination for U.S. Senate last year. He dropped out partially due to health issues.
And officials from all over the state are reacting tonight. The president of Farm Bureau, Randy Veach, said, quote, "The state of Arkansas has lost a true leader, and the Farm Bureau family has lost a gracious man. He was a man of integrity, compassion, and faith.
Senator Mark Pryor says Reed, quote, was a strong family man and devout in his faith. He will be sorely missed. Senator John Bozeman wrote the state of Arkansas lost a true friend and champion. His wisdom and example has had tremendous influence on so many.
On high alert, police searching for a person they believe may have attempted to abduct a child near Viola. Two 9-year-old girls told state police special agents that a man attempted to lure them to a truck when he stopped along Highway 62 near a home where the girls were playing. A woman inside the home tells investigators she heard the children scream and saw a man walking away from the children toward the truck. The suspect is described as being a heavyset white man, bushy red hair, and possibly missing several teeth. The truck is a blue mid-90s Toyota with a silver or white stripe along the bottom. If you have any information about this case, call local law enforcement. And a Cabot man who was wanted for sexual assault surrendered to authorities this morning. 50-year-old Jimmy Collins turned himself in at the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office around 11:15. He was out on bond for another arrest in May. Collins was charged with rape in that crime, and the recent charge came out of that first investigation. A woman arrested accused of tricking an elderly woman at her home and stealing her debit card. 18-year-old Ivory Arnold was arrested last night, less than 24 hours after taking the card. Conway police say she stole it from an elderly woman's purse after she asked the woman to borrow some laundry soap. Officers issued a surveillance photo, and they used that to track her down, taken from video obtained when she used the card. That's it right there. She is charged with theft and fraudulent use of a credit card.
For the first time in 6 days, there's no formal White House meeting to try to reach a debt ceiling deal. Key players took a break from the negotiating table, but not from staking out their positions. In his third news conference in 3 weeks, President Obama said he wants to reduce the debt through tax hikes on wealthy Americans, entitlement reform, and spending cuts. He thinks there's time for a, quote, grand compromise if Republicans come up with a plan by Sunday.
If they show me a serious plan, I'm ready to move, even if it requires some tough decisions on my part.
We asked him to put forward a plan, not a speech, a real plan, and he hasn't. We will.
That could include a so-called cut, cap, and balance plan, including a balanced budget constitutional amendment. Republicans say they'll push for a vote on it next week. Obama says that option could mean substantial cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Layoffs will begin this weekend at a southeast Arkansas arsenal where part of the U.S. chemical weapons stockpile is being dismantled. Officials at the Pine Bluff Chemical Activity announced yesterday that the job cuts will start tomorrow. According to a statement, 79 positions will be eliminated, but attrition means that less than 14 workers will be laid off.
Another donut chain announcing plans to open stores in Arkansas. Dunkin' Donuts expects to build as many as 16 new stores over the next few years, with the first set to open next year. A spokesperson for the company says it plans to open 5 stores in the Little Rock, North Little Rock area. Now, the city of Little Rock announcing the Main Street Corridor is receiving a $150,000 grant. Channel 7's Michelle Rupp live tonight with details on how they'll use the money. Michelle?
Well, Scott, the hope is to turn one block into more of an arts or cultural mecca here in downtown. The grant is from the Endowment of the Arts. Specifically, we are talking about the buildings between the 500 and 600 block of Main Street. The money will go to rehabilitate the buildings with the anticipation of further funds to help remove asbestos. Sharon Priest with the Downtown Partnership says this money will go a long way in revitalizing the area. The Arkansas Repertory Theater is one of the buildings along the block. They are undergoing a multi-million-dollar renovation as well.
They'll get a new lobby, they'll get a new theater. I think that's terrific, and clearly the Rep isn't going anywhere after spending $6 million, so that makes them a really good anchor for that part of Main Street.
Now, it's not just the north end of Main Street. The south end is booming as well, and we're going to have more on that coming up tonight at 6. Scott?
Michelle, there is some other construction going on there behind you. What's going on there?
Yes, actually, this is going to be the new Porter's Jazz Cafe. Sharon Priest tells me that it is expected to open its doors in August. Back to you.
Michelle Rupp reporting live in downtown tonight. Thanks.
For kids, companies such as Kraft and Coca-Cola have agreed to new industry guidelines requiring foods meet a higher nutritional standard if they're advertised to children. But those standards aren't as tough as what the government is proposing, and only about a third of the food advertised to children would have to be made healthier by 2014. The government has called the food industry's new guidelines a good first step. A new education resource for history teachers this year. Today, the official launch of the Arkansas History Hub for kindergarten through 12th grade teachers and professionals. It's an interactive tool that allows teachers to exchange ideas and download classroom materials about Arkansas history for their classrooms.
This is going to be a place where all those resources are united in one place, so teachers can have a one-stop shopping site to come to grab their resources, their lesson plans, their field trip, grant opportunities, things like that.
Using this resource, Barry says teachers will also be able to communicate and chat with each other, share information, and contribute their own lesson plans. Still to come on Live at 5, Harry Potter still has the magic touch. The final film in the Boy Wizard series is now in theaters, raking in tens of millions of dollars already. But is it really the end of the successful franchise? Details coming up at 5:19.
Oh, I doubt that, don't you? Ned says the heat and humidity are back to stay for a while. The details on your weekend forecast straight ahead as Channel 7 News Live at 5 continues.